Yeah, we had a slight interruption here on Zoom again, and I think that sometimes the topics you talk about. This is the Dave Emmons Show, and we're being syndicated through WODY radio. And Penny L.A. Shepard is our guest, and we just left off by talking about uh, the military and other people being involved in what they're doing to people and actually DNA hybriding people, super soldiers, and talking about Elon Musk and what he did to the monkeys to experiment with the implants in which they're probably trying to do to us one day. And I heard rumors. I was just going to say that a lot of people think Elon Musk is an alien. So, and he kind of smiled one time and he said, "I am an alien." And the host that was asking him he's just perplexed. I mean, he reared back and he said, "Really?" And he said, "What do you think?" So yeah, and I heard his ex-wife had some kind of contact with aliens, or maybe the inside scoop of things.
He was the alien she had contact with.
Yeah, yeah. Penny, could you I guess go in deeper on that subject about what's
Well, Musk right now has 9 children. So he had 5 children with his first wife. They were all through IVF. And what it reminds me of, the IVF thing, is there's a movie, it's called Evil, and it's on I believe it's on Amazon.
right?
Not certain, so please don't, oh, she said it was on Amazon, she was wrong. But take a look for it. And what it actually is, it's not a movie, it's actually a series. Okay.
Okay.
My best friend, who I call my sister Susie, she always says that, hey, you want to watch a movie? And like 8 hours later, like, this is not a movie. This is a series.
Yeah.
So it's a series called Evil, and the culmination of it is basically that those Illuminatists, which would be the Hellywood performers, rock stars, singers, actresses, um, politicians, anyone in the limelight, but that when they make their deal with Satan, when they make their deal with the devil, that they propagate the species for Satan. So they would take a seed and then they implant it, and then they have twins. So Elon Musk, his first baby died of SIDS, and every subsequent child with his first wife had twins in the first time, and then he had triplets, and one of those triplets' name is Damien, and he showed up at the Vatican
Oh, yeah. Right.
with Musk,
Yeah.
which is odd because Damien is the name of the Antichrist in the Omen.
Right.
Damien,
Right.
the movies are real, and I can't stress that enough. They're making and writing movies about all of us, not just me. So there's another component of the movies which involves me, which is the X-Files. So the X-Files was started on a wiki case of xenotransplantation, which is a transplantation of genetic materials from one species to another. I believe that that's its foundation, where the doctors will say, yes, a pig heart. But in reality, the advanced technology, it is taking and creating cross genetic hybrids, human beings, and creating super soldiers that have outstanding endurance, which is one of the other things that they want, which is transhumanization, which is the robotization of human beings.
Right.
Now, Elon Musk is extremely wealthy, and he also provided satellites for the Ukraine. And it wasn't just because he was a kind individual who believes in the Ukraine. Those satellites he also sent on a talk show host. When the talk show host said, "Wow, that's really Dr. Evil stuff you're talking about,"
Mm.
he said that you could take drones, and you could take a drone army, and you could wipe out an entire city with a drone army. So now, what runs the drone army? Satellites.
Wow.
So he's putting up something like 30,000 satellites he's going to be putting up across. So now let's add to this Neuralink. So now he's putting interfaces in you so that you don't have to, he's saying he's doing it for the benefit of mankind. They always start that way.
Right.
But when in fact, this would be the precursor to creating a hive mind. So you don't have to carry your cell phone. You don't have to worry about losing your cell phone. All money is digitized. You use your hand to pass it over a bar scanner to buy the goods that you want. If you need to call somebody on the phone, you just think it, synthetic telepathy, and you're calling that individual because you're wired to the internet. If you're wired to the internet, then that means that they can use you as Manchurian candidates. Everyone is MKUltra. Everyone is MKUltra. So all of those that think that MKUltra is some silly little thing that people are talking about how they were tortured for MKUltra, you know, and they are under the mistaken belief that MKUltra doesn't affect them, because it does. It affects them because it affects the entire world, because that is the problem. Are you there?
Yeah, we had another glitch. Zoom. Bad advertisement for Zoom, I think, right now. But
Zoom is not zooming.
yeah,
It's
I got.
down.
Yeah, and you can't get hold of anybody. For everybody's information, I've been having Zoom problems. Been trying to get hold of them for a week. I cannot get hold of one person, and they send me an email and they want to know all these numbers and how do you find all these numbers. But okay, getting back to the show here, Penny, I was going to say that MKUltra, or the deep state, that get into the minds of politicians and other leaders and big banks and everything. They offer money. Money is not a problem for them. They offer you money, and so there's a lot of people with money in their back pockets. And secondly, they offer you security. They say, okay, we'll secure you and your family, and you'll be a member of the elite. You know, you'll be working with the elite as an asset. And this is what Tom Altos was talking about last week as a asset for the elites, that if they could use you, if you can be an asset to them. So I think that you're kind of getting around to that. There's a lot of people that are probably involved in MKUltra that never talk about it.
Well, not only that, but I mean that you're used as an asset. Everyone's puppeted. So, you know, who's puppeting the puppet masters? Because somebody's puppeting them too.
Right.
Who's puppeting Elon Musk, who is a puppet master? He also, you know, along with creating the implants, then he creates the hive mind, because he uses the internet, which everyone now has a hive mind, and that now you're influenced. You would be inundated with commercials and things in your head that you can't turn off.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
I,
go ahead.
yeah. I just think that we don't really know what's going on. A lot of people are starting to wake up, but not enough of us are awake yet. And the other side says woke. They use wokeness, but that wokeness is actually for a new world order. Open borders, one currency, and the whole bit. And the elites run things, and we're more slaves than what we are now. We're slaves now, but we don't really realize it. But we'd be more slave. We'll be beholden to the government that's taking care of us.
Yes, I really resented the woke word because I didn't understand it when it first came out. I'm like, what is this? You know, you're telling people, are you awake? Have you awakened? And now they replace it. You know, it's like the old adage, what God made for good, Satan uses for evil.
Right. Okay.
Pizza's not bad, okay? Pizza's a good thing.
Right. I think what we're going to do is take a legitimate break here, because we're into that third. We just finished the third segment. We got one more segment to go. You're listening to the Dave Emmons Show, and it's syndicated through WODY Radio, Odyssey Radio, and I think Eddie's going to have a hard time deciphering or editing this third section because of Zoom. We'll be right back with you. Thank you for sticking around. Record. Welcome back, everybody, and this is the Dave Emmons Show, and this is our last segment, and I'm going to probably divide them up on social media as we go, and I'm sure the radio station will probably play the audio in whole, the whole show, so that's WDY Radio and Odyssey Radio.live. My guest today is Penny L.A. Shepard, and she's going to be telling us now. We've been talking about MKUltra and all the ins and outs of all this stuff, this cabal and what's going on in the world. But now she's going to talk about Russia a little bit. Penny, take it away.
Okay, so we had started earlier about the Pope and was he going to retire? And then we're going to get into the suicide at FSB General Satskov, who was in charge of Directorate S, which is Russian sleeper agents. And are they awakened in the United States? He suicided himself June 15th. So, and then Putin told Xi Jinping that this happened. So
Mhm.
that it was very interesting because this guy's a legendary spy master. And so, as you see, I have Russia's atomic nightmare, 100 missing suitcase nuclear weapons. That's what we know of.
Really?
And
Oh, that's scary.
yeah, that's what we know of. I have intel that says it was far more than that, perhaps 200, maybe more, which, you know, is why when Russia started the war, they were over at the nuclear where's the nuclear thing that they were fighting over?
Yeah, the plant,
There,
nuclear power plant.
yes,
Yeah.
the nuclear power plant, which had there was a nuclear spillover.
Oh,
And name of
yeah, it was Chernobyl. Yes.
right. Okay, so they were fighting. I believe they were in Chernobyl fighting over
Right.
that. And I was told it was because of that they can make dirty bombs from that nuclear waste. So that's why they wanted to go there. They weren't trying to blow it up. They were trying to acquire it to make certain that no more dirty bombs could be made.
Well, you know,
So we
Russian
go
troops
ahead.
were contaminated by nuclear fallout or some kind of a it's in the dirt, and these soldiers, about 180 of them, were in that area, and they were all contaminated. So I don't know what happened to them.
Right.
Yeah.
So in here we had discussed before that the Pope said that for me today, World War III has just been declared. This is something that should be given us a pause for thought. What is happening to humanity that we have had 3 world wars in a century? So he's calling it, Pope Sir is calling it. He's saying this is a war. Now, when there were allegations, was he going to resign or was he not going to resign? I just wanted to play this real quick. That when Pope Benedict resigned, and I think he's the 17th, and I'm not sure if I have this, I think the 17th, I think I have it at 16th. I always get my Roman numerals wrong. But this was interesting. When the prior Pope resigned, lightning struck the Vatican. So I'm going to play the,
Really? Oh, wow.
yeah. And he announced it on February 11th, 2013. So hours afterwards, lightning struck the Vatican. Now, the Vatican became a sovereign state, February 11th, 1929. And I got married to my first husband, Steve Zenos, which Zenos name means stranger. So, you know, I was Mrs. Stranger.
Right.
I got married to him November 22nd, but they changed the date to November 25th. However, it wasn't certified until February 11th. So I got married November 22nd, 1983. And they certified it February 11th, 1984, 3 months after I was married.
Right.
And that's pretty much when Stranger Things starts, is 1983. Okay, so here's lightning striking the Vatican. This is our International Business Times. Okay, so you're not going to see, you're not going to hear it, but those that can see it will actually see a video of lightning striking the Vatican.
In a possible sign from above, lightning has struck the Vatican just hours after Pope Benedict XVI announced his surprising resignation. Footage shot shows the top of St. Peter's Basilica being struck by lightning during a thunderstorm over the Vatican. The resignation has caused a stir around the world, and now it seems that nature itself has something to say about it. Pope Benedict XVI is the first pope to resign in over 700 years. He said the reason for the
700 years.
Well, I heard that. Yes, that's
I did have it right. It was the 60s.
resignation is that he no longer had the mental or physical strength to do the job. Now the world is left waiting and wondering who his successor will be. Sally Turner for IB Times TV.
Okay, so
You think that could have been E.T. that shot that lightning bolt there, or was now this Pope is resigning, but he can still do the job. You were saying earlier that, but he just
he resigned because of poor health. So you know, he could be a pope, right? But no pope has ever resigned before in 700 years.
right.
You die. That's a job for life. It's like being a Supreme Court justice.
Yes.
It's your gig for life. This guy resigned because he said he was in poor health. Now we have a current pope who's in very poor health, and he's saying, no, I'm not resigning. So that leaves to be a question. However, I wanted to make it known that he publicly declared we're in World War III. So as you know, world conflict starts somewhere, and then when everybody joins in, then it becomes world.
Right.
So right now we have Russia and Ukraine, but it appears that Biden is, goading, the fires, stroking the fires. He's got biolabs out there. He's got, money out there. We have the individual Zelensky, who, danced his, put a ring on it, single ladies to Beyonce in black leather high heels, stiletto high heels, and and also played the piano with his winky dink. Okay. Played Hava Nagila with his winky dink. That's kind of disrespectful, don't you think? A little bit?
Yeah, it's kind of like a sadistic, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. And so, he made a living utilizing the military industrial entertainment complex because he was a comedian. So he had Cavartal, 94 or 97. I'd have to look it up. But in that, he was a comedian, and then he started this series, Servant of the People, in which he was a comedian that gets elected president of the United States. Also, there was a BBC thing, which I will be playing, regarding General Satskov. There was a BBC series, which he was a child, so they're born into this. And the sleeper agent that awakens 20 years later is named Zelensky.
Wow.
In the BBC program in the 90s, I think it was either 91 or 96. I'll get to that. So here we have June 15th, 2022, KGB legend suicided after Russian sleepers awakened in America. Now, classified at the highest level of special importance, new Security Council report circulated in the Kremlin today first notes President Putin held a telephone conversation with Chinese President Xi Jinping this morning and reveals that President Xi stating all parties concerned must take a responsible stance, thus promoting the correct settlement of the crisis in Ukraine. Beijing is taking an independent position on the Ukraine issue, taking into account the facts and historical realities. We actively contribute to preserving peace on the global scale. Likewise, we contribute to maintaining a stable economic order in the world. So he's saying we contribute to the new world order.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear the slip up on one of the staffers a week or two ago that said that the liberal world order? He yes. Made a comment about that. Yeah.
Right. That's what it is. It's a liberal new world order. But it, even the liberals pretty much are going to get screwed on this one.
Oh yes.
So they may think they're getting what they want, but they're getting their satanic factions approved, right. But they will get killed just like everybody else. There's nothing protecting them, right. Unless they have a shield of elite and monetary capacity, right. And something that the new world order desires.
Or they can live in these stadiums or these FEMA camps. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Former KGB General Lev Satskov shoots himself dead in his Moscow apartment. Ex-KGB General Lev Satskov was found dead at his Moscow apartment on Wednesday with a gunshot wound to his head. As per Russian media reports, the retired Major General was suffering from a number of medical conditions. The body of the 90-year-old retired intelligence officer was discovered by his wife on Wednesday afternoon inside the bathroom of their apartment in southwest Moscow with a note. Upon examining the scene, the police officials told reporters the cause of death was suicide as per initial information. Mentioning the note, they explained that Satskov wrote that he'd used a semi-automatic, I can't even say this, Tokarev TT-30 pistol received as a gift from his Mongolian colleagues. Now, if you were going to kill yourself, would you write about the gun?
I don't think so. That's a Tokarev, I guess they call it.
Yes. No, goodbye, cruel world. He's saying something because that gun, he says, the pistol is a relic of the battles on Kalakin Gol River. I received it when I was an envoy to the Mongolian Secret Service. So I looked up, where's Mongolia? It's not in China. It's in between China and Russia. Right. On the occasion of the 500th anniversary of Ulaanbaatar in 1989, El Saskov, the note read. That was a suicide note. So I'm going to have to look up this right here, Ulaanbaatar. He was recruited in the KGB in 1959. He served in the Foreign and Central Intelligence of the Soviet Union and then Russia for more than 40 years. The head of the press office of External Intelligence Service of Russia, SVR, Sergei Ivanov, described the veteran's passing as a personal tragedy for the service. as per Saska's relatives, while suffering from a few medical conditions, the former intelligence officer had often said he was tired of living, Russia Today reported. Now, I believe, and I'm going to keep researching this, I believe that this was a triggering event because Putin goes to Xi and tells him that this legendary spy master, he is legendary, has transpired.
Right.
He was widely known and respected for authoring several books about the intelligence services work after his retirement. One of his most famous books, Operation Tarantula, on the Soviet intelligence identifying and attacking British politicians and spies between 1930 and 1945, was also awarded a special SRV prize in 2006. The cause and details of the retired Major General's suicide have not been released yet. The investigation is currently underway with forensic specialists working closely with police officials, meaning you're not going to find out jack diddly.
Right. There's been about 6 or 7 big higher ups around Putin that's been that they've committed suicide with 4 or 5 bullet holes in their head. So there's some suspicious activity going.
Right. And then they hung themselves with piano wire after that.
Yeah.
So it's, this is just more on this individual, more stuff on him suicided. Now, in here, okay, it says, piece together very sparse clues about the classified high-level transcript permitted to be openly discussed by various ministries about what President Putin and President Xi were discussing were absolutely gobsmacked, because what first came to mind was little-known BBC 4-episode comedy series Sleepers. The first episode, which entitled The Awakening. It aired on the 10th of April, 1991. Now, the 20th of April is Hitler's birthday.
Right.
And says about itself, deep in the heart of the Kremlin, Moscow, a discovery is made which sends shockwaves through the hierarchy of the KGB, and the repercussion of which are felt in the heart of the city of London and the brewery of Eccles, and in whose BBC trailer sees a Russian sleeper agent identifying himself as Vladimir Zelensky, which is the Russian language equivalent of present-day Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Right. Putin said that Zelensky was he was a Nazi, and that's why he's attacking Ukraine. So, is there a story to that?
Yes, he is. He serves the Black Sun, which is when he did that dance, because they're using the entertainment industry to salute to the elite. So when he is using his comedy, which then gets him the presidency, which is very well contrived, very well planned, well in advance. It's used as a propagandist tool. When he's doing this, he's singing a Beyonce song. Beyonce is Boule Illuminati. So that's the Black Illuminati. So what he's singing is single ladies. He's singing it all in black. So he's giving homage to the black. He's saying he's the Black Sun. So he's giving homage to the Black Sun, which is a Nazi. They're Nazis.
Yes, it just there's things that we don't know about why all this happened from Putin into Ukraine, and there's a lot of deeper stuff that you're just saying, and I guess many people have had theories and they've had conspiracies about this, but we're helping the Ukrainians. I guess Biden is helping them because they know some things about him.
Yeah, well, he's been in bed with pretty much everybody. The CCP. I remember when I was in Branson and I was asked by a gentleman to write a play for the Temptations, and the Temptations came back into my life again. And one of them was driving my car. He was working in Temptations Review. And so I went to the White House. There's a White House in Branson. And so when I went in the White House, because I knew there were some family members of mine that were in the White House. But when I went into this faux White House, I said, who owns this White House? And she said, the Chinese. And I said to myself, do the Chinese own our actual White House? That was in 2017 when I was in Branson. I think that Chinese do own a big portion of the White House.
Really? Oh.
Because Biden is in bed with the Chinese. Biden's son Hunter was over there. I think it was in Beijing where he was.
Yeah.
Where he's making deals with the Chinese. And I think that when, they've recovered many pictures off of his laptop of his antics he's filmed pretty much everything. But I think they offered him some Chinese children to maybe do snuff films and kill
Really?
and compromise them
So
because he's an addict.
that's the things they're not showing us, or they won't even mention it too much on, I guess, until the court sees it, or the FBI is.
They're gonna get down and dirty, but there are some things that they won't show. But this is, I'm gonna speculate on it, but this is my honest opinion that's what we're talking about. We're talking about murder of, I mean, he's the only person ever thrown out of the Chateau Marmont. The Chateau Marmont threw him out for drug use. They're known for liaisons for murders and for covering up drugs because he was cooking crack in his room. I mean, that's where Belushi died with
Yeah.
a hotshot when he was doing coke with Robert De Niro and Robin Williams.
Yeah.
So this is the BBC series. I found it in 1996. Sleepers. It features a sleeper named Zelensky. The length is 2 minutes and 32 seconds. And here you see some of the characters. Nigel Havers, Warren Clark. Warren Clark plays Albert Robinson, aka Vladimir Zelensky. I mean, seriously, what the age?
Now a chance to look ahead to a new series starting here on 2 next week.
This is 1996.
Once upon a time, a secret room was discovered in the Kremlin, revealing that 2 agents have been missing for 25 years. Does that grab you?
Sounds totally impossible. It's probably true.
Yeah.
Right.
Who the hell is this?
It's Vladimir Zelensky. Здравствуйте, Sergei Alexeyevich.
Okay,
Добрый
I have to
день,
stop.
дорогие мои Ефимов.
I have to stop.
Okay.
What's with the monkey?
The monkey.
Did you see the monkey?
Uh,
Okay. So a little bit further. He's got a monkey in his hand. What are we facing now? Monkeypox.
Yes. Yes.
Let's have a monkey in his hand.
I was thinking that is going to refer to. Yes.
Monkey. See
Yeah.
the monkey?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chop the monkey.
Yeah.
Why does he have a monkey in his hand in 1996? Is this time travel?
Probably the movies Hellywood, like you're talking. Yeah.
I mean, the guy's name is Zelensky. The guy is a sleeper. He awakens after 20 years. Now, Zelensky was born in, let's see. He was born, I'm looking. He was born in 1978. So he's 44.
Okay.
So 78, 88, 98, he would have been 20. So he was 18 when this was made. So his future was already seen to. By the way, Helena Hutchinson, who was murdered by Alec Baldwin, went to the same school as him. She's a year younger than him. I wonder. And her father was a Russian submariner. And Alec Baldwin was in Red October. So I'm going to finish playing this.
More than 20 years?
If it's not a silly question, comrade, might one ask what you're doing with a monkey?
We think these 2 young men are agents, Vladimir Zelensky and Sergei Rublov.
Why is this Major Grishna really here?
Well, that's difficult to say right now, sir.
Okay, Carl. Stay close to him. Oh, and naturally, don't let the Brits in on this.
These luncheon expenses seem to be on the steep side, George.
I was telling the Bulgarian cultural attaché, sir.
I want a bit less of these flame-grilled whoppers.
Okay, so now if you remember, in War Games, the machine was called a Whopper. Remember?
Yeah. Okay.
Remember what War Games? The machine, which was an AI machine, which was to start global thermonuclear war, was called the Whopper. And it was run by AI named Joshua. But Fortunately, they had a back door to shut him down so that he stopped playing global thermonuclear war. It was called the Whopper. I believe that was released in 86.
Wow.
Let's
I don't want to go back anymore than you do, but I'd rather go in than have them come and get me. I don't want my family put at risk.
look. I don't even know where Eccles is. How the hell are the KGB gonna find you?
Look at the crowd. It's them. I know it's them.
Okay, so now what would be the best way to disseminate coded information, disseminate past information? I'm researching time travelers right now. The Mazik Kreskin, I don't know if you remember him, but I remember him.
Yes.
Ed talked about a time traveler. I'm going to see if I can maybe get him on Dave's show. I'll see if maybe he'll do your show too.
Yeah. I've had well, what's his name?
Gary Geller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows a lot too.
Yes, he does. He worked for Stanford Research Institute
Yeah.
and for the CIA.
Yes.
So what, you had said before, well, isn't that a comedy about something that we were discussing before? Yes, they're using comedies to obfuscate, because you're going to look at it and you're going to laugh and you're going to say, well, that can't be real. When in fact it is real. They're disseminating information through a comedy because these things are real.
Resident alien. Yeah.
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 So while you're looking at it, well, I was compelled to look at it because I actually believe that Durrell, my first handler, is part of the eugenics program. And I think he's part alien gray.
So every movie that gets into, I guess, are we even talking about 007? Do they all have messages?
Yes, 007 was actually Ian Fleming was Ivor Bryce's friend, and Ivor Bryce, his sister, was married to Huntington Hartford. Huntington Hartford was the AMP grocery era, which they were running everything, and he owned what was called Hog Island, which then he renamed Paradise Island. Then he sold it to Resorts International, which Resorts International was they had their own Intertel, which was former Secret Service. And they were spies. That's what they were doing. The Shah of Iran tried to buy Paradise Island. When he was deposed, he flew there, and I believe John Walsh was working for the Paradise Island Hotel at that time. And he was also a hotelier, so maybe he tried to broker a deal for the Shah, but the deal did not go through. And the Shah subsequently died November 27, 1980, and then November 27. I'm sorry, I always say November. July 27, 1980, and July 27, 1981, Adam Walsh's son was taken a year after he died. A year after Shaw died.
And I think you were saying that this Walsh character is not who he says he is?
No, he is not. I've done about 30 shows on him and his connections. So the connections are very nefarious. They lead to all the presidents, which the presidents are not good. He started with Reagan, who Reagan's VP was George Sr., who George Sr. was CIA, but he wasn't just, I wondered, how could this person know so much if he was only CIA for 1 year? And he received all of the MKUltra programs and the Phoenix programs from his predecessor, which was Colby. And then Colby in the 90s got suicided in a canoe ride.
Right.
So I tell my friends, if they're getting in a little deep, I have a little joke because there was a perfume called Canoe, and the advertisement was Can You Canoe? And so I say, hey, remember Colby? Can you canoe?
Yeah.
He died in a canoe accident. And they said that he went out late at night, and they asked him when they came to his home, they said, why don't you have more security here? You should have cameras and stuff. He's like, no, there's no purpose. I mean, if they want to kill me, they will kill me. And when my time comes, my time will come. So was it, Bush that killed him? Because Bush Sr. was involved with many, 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 many deaths.
Yes, and so was Cheney. Yes. They know quite a bit. And Rumsfeld, he knew quite a bit too. To sum all this up with all these bad and evil groups, is the Antichrist here on Earth now?
I know there's a lot of antichrists. If you want to say one, I mean, there's many antichrists. They're against all of those of us who believe in Christ and believe in God,
Right.
and their God is Satan. So they're anti us, essentially. If you would say, is there one, or is there a leader? I know Michael Aquino was one of the heads, and I know that my brother John is twin with Michael Aquino. So many antichrists, many heads of the serpent, they are legion. So, you know, I believe that the serpents in the Bible are the Draco reptilians and the Greys. They are the Satans in the Bible. That's my personal belief.
I've heard that through other scholars and other people who research that. Well, the show's coming to an end. This is the last of our section 4, segment 4, and this is the Dave Emmons Show, and it's syndicated through WODY, and that's the Odyssey Radio Live. And they had a nice time, except for Zoom. We had a really good time, Penny. Penny L.A. Shepard was my guest, and she's given us a lot of information. So people, open your eyes, watch some movies at a different angle, I guess, maybe turn your head a little bit to see a different angle of it. But make sure that you know that things are going on, and we need to be prepared for a lot of big changes. Penny Shepard, thank you so much for being on the show, and goodbye to everybody for right now. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.